Yo everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing my May 2020 favorites. I've got quite a few things to show you guys. A lot, or I would actually say 99.9% of them are not new products, purely because, as I've said in the past, when I show favorites, it's definitely something that is a favorite month on month on month, rather than it just being something new which I've been loving. So only one of the things I'm going to show you today is new. So let's start off with a foundation. Now you guys may be a little bit surprised that I'm going to show this one to you. It is the Huda Beauty Faux Filter Foundation. Now, first off, I've mentioned to you guys before, since I started taking a lot more better care of my skin and I use acid exfoliants over the past 2 years, my skin has completely changed color. Now, because when I was a child, I used to be outside all the time with no SPF, I used to have a fairly deep skin tone in comparison to what I have now. And the problem it also is that the majority of my foundations steadily started to become too dark for me, and I still have that at the moment. I mean, even though we've had summer, I use SPF 50. My office is in a basement, so we don't really get much sun, and due to lockdown I've been bringing lunch in from home, so I have not been actually going out into much sun. In saying that, I have started to finally pick up a little bit of a tan, so I don't have to go out and buy a whole load of new foundations. And now we come to this. The shade that I've been using is 350G Dulce de Leche. Now this is the one I actually showed you guys when I first did the review, and in that video I mentioned how it was too light for me, the irony. And then I went on to buy the shade Baklava, which was perfect for me. Now that's too dark, and the joke is this is actually a bit too dark for me as well. That just goes to show how much my skin tone has changed in terms of color because of brightening, hyperpigmentation, using niacinamide and various other kinds of acid exfoliants. And that is one of the reasons, to be fair, I went back to using this shade here. It's a full coverage foundation. It's not the best foundation on the market, or the best foundation I would say in terms of full coverage. However, I have managed to learn how to make this work for me so that it doesn't accentuate texture and pores, which I used to find, well, more so pores I used to find that this does, and I just tend to use a lot less, and that way it sits a lot more nicely on the skin. So I've been using this foundation a lot. Following on from that, this is my ride or die these days. Because of the reasons I've literally just mentioned to you guys, I have been using this quite a lot. It was actually recommended to me by one of you guys, so thank you for that. It is the NYX Pro Foundation Mixer, and this one is in, funnily enough, the shade White. So what I've been doing a lot of the time, rather than having to shell out for brand new foundation shades, whatever the shade is, I just add a little bit or a lot of this to the foundation, and voila, I can make it a little bit lighter, and that way my foundation matches me perfectly. So this is something that I would definitely say everybody should have in their collection, more so because when it comes to the summer months, your skin tone can change quite a lot. Ain't no one got the kind of income and budget that means you have to go out and buy something new every single time your skin tone changes. Forget it. This one helps a lot. I also find that it doesn't interfere with the kind of way that the foundation is supposed to perform. So if it's a matte foundation, it stays matte. If it's a dewy foundation, it stays dewy. So I really like that about this. Let's now move on to blushes. So this is the new product, the only new one I have to show you guys. It is by NYX Cosmetics. It's called the Sweet Cheeks Glow Creamy Powder Blush, and this shade is in Summer Breeze. It's a beautiful sunny bright orange, absolutely perfect for the summer months. Great for medium and deep skin tones because it is incredibly pigmented. A little bit goes a really long way. For my medium skin tone, I have to go in with a fairly light hand, otherwise it's too orange. So if you've got really deep skin, you will really love this. Another one is definitely a holy grail of mine. It's one of my favorites, and it has been for however long I've had it. It's by Hourglass. It's their Ambient Lighting Bronzer in the shade Radiant Bronze Light. I don't use this to contour purely because it is not the kind of shade that is good for contouring for my skin tone, and it's also got very, very, very fine shimmers in it. They don't really show up much on the skin, but enough for you to not want to use it as a contour. It's also a very warm toned bronzer, so again, it's for warming up the face, giving your face that sun-kissed kind of glow. The texture is soft and finely milled. It glides onto the skin. It doesn't go patchy, it doesn't go muddy looking, and that's the reason why I always go back to this, particularly in the summer. Another blush is this one here by Cover FX. It's in the shade Mojave Mauve. It's one of their monochromatic blush duos, matte and shimmers. I've shown this to you guys in the past. I generally don't tend to use the shimmery shades. I don't like shimmery blushes purely because I've got textured skin And if I'm going to wear highlighter, which already in itself will most likely show up at least 50% on my texture, I don't need to add to it by then putting a shimmery blush as well. So I tend to prefer to actually use the matte side. This beautiful pink, again, is perfect for medium and deep skin tones. It's incredibly pigmented. It's very soft and finely milled. Very similar in texture to the Hourglass one, but maybe a little bit more thick. That one's a lot more softer. But I absolutely love this. Again, a little bit goes a really long way and the quality is excellent. The blush set is this one by Anastasia Beverly Hills. Again, I've shown these in the past. This is one of their blush trios. It's in the shade called Pink Passion. I'm actually using this one here, which is called Basically. That's what I'm actually wearing right now. I've actually started to almost hit pan on the central one. I tend to use this one quite a lot when I'm going for any kind of pink or mauvey, purpley kind of look. Obviously today I'm going for like a kind of purpley sort of look. And I just vary the shade depending on what I'm wearing that day. The quality of these is excellent. Very, very pigmented. Great again for medium and deep skin tones. And I love the fact that obviously you get 3 blushes for the price of almost 1. I always tend to get these in Black Friday sales. That's when I got mine from Anastasia Beverly Hills, where it was 50% off. So if you want to wait until November, by all means do, because they will go on sale. This is another holy grail product of mine, especially for now. I've shown this in so many videos. It's the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Skin Perfecting Powder. My shade is in medium number 2. Soft, finely milled, blurs out pores, soft focus effect finish, keeps my skin completely matte all day, stops my foundation from moving. I just absolutely love it. It costs £35 and I'm happy to pay that kind of price purely because it does exactly what I want it to do and it never lets me down. Let's move on to bronzers. Surprise, surprise. Not the Anastasia Beverly Hills Saddle Powder Bronzer. I've raved about this so many times. I'm actually not wearing it today. And you probably won't see this in next month's video because I've been using and loving another bronzer. But technically that wasn't in May. So we will wait until June for that. But this one is a firm favorite of mine. I've shown it in hundreds of my videos and makeup tutorials. It is the perfect mix for medium skin tone of cool and warm tone, perfect for contouring as well as bronzing up the face. It delivers a beautiful, highly pigmented finish. It's very soft, easy to blend and lasts all day long. Another bronzer that I've been re-loving and you guys have seen before is this one, which is slightly deeper and a lot warmer. It is the Fenty Beauty Sun Stalk'r Instant Warmth Bronzer in the shade Island Ting. I tend to use this for contouring sometimes, but more when I want to pull the contour up into a blush because obviously it is very, very warm. The quality is not as good as the Anastasia Beverly Hills one, but it's still good enough to the point where I still like to add this into my favorites every now and then because I do use it quite a lot. Right, let's move on to eyeshadow palettes. Nobody shows single eyeshadows anymore. If you buy single eyeshadows, you got money to waste, boy, because let's be honest, palettes go so much further in terms of your money and the shades that you can mix around with. So these two I have definitely been loving quite a lot over the month of May. These are by Huda Beauty from her Pastel Obsessions eyeshadow palettes. This is Pastels Rose and Pastel Lilac. Now the quality of these is so. Check out my review just so that you can see everything in detail. However, that's not to say that I still don't use them. I do use them quite a lot. There's just certain shades in here which are rubbish, so I just don't use those ones. But I've been going for a lot of very soft kind of pastel-y, summery, spring kind of looks over the month of May. And then I've been using these shades because they're quite soft, and then the shimmery shades just to add to the lid. So I have been loving these quite a bit. Another eyeshadow palette of mine, which is definitely another holy grail, is this one by Too Faced, which is called the Born This Way The Natural Nudes eyeshadow palette. It is a complexion inspired eyeshadow palette, so therefore this palette goes from very fair to very deep. Basically, if you've got medium skin tone, you'll probably benefit from this more than people who've got fair or deep skin, purely because pretty much every single shade in here will show up on you. Whereas if you're fair, some may be a little bit too deep, and if you've got deep skin, some may be a little bit too light or ashy, which I do think is a little bit out of order. It would have been nice if they came up with a fair, medium and deep palette, but here's hoping one day, right? So the quality of these, 10 out of 10. I've done a review on these before, so you can check that out. I love this. I use this all the time, especially on those days when I'm in a hurry to get to work because I've just overslept or just don't have enough time. I can just whack on a quick eyeshadow shade, very soft, don't have to blend too much, and then use my finger and add to the lid, and I'm good to go. The quality of these is absolutely excellent. The mattes are buttery and soft and easy to blend, and the shimmery shades have got a very thick, almost foiled-like consistency, so the color itself shows up very vibrantly on the lid. Got these eyelashes to show you guys. These are by House of Lashes. They're called Iconic Lite. So like the classic iconic ones, these are basically a slightly thinner version. So if you can see these, they're still long and still quite sultry, but not too full on and not too voluminous and thick. So I like to wear these to work quite a lot. I find them work appropriate. Got two concealers to show you guys. Is the Urban Decay. That one fell on the floor. The Urban Decay Stay Naked Correcting Concealer. My shade is in 50WY. This is actually nearly finished. It's coming to its last bits. That's just how much I love it. This is definitely my favorite concealer, hands down, and has been since it was released. It's thick but creamy and easy to blend. Brightens beautifully under the eye, doesn't crease as long as I've set it, doesn't move, doesn't go patchy, doesn't accentuate any texture, any dry skin, and basically it's just an all-round amazing concealer. The one that I dropped was the Studio Fix MAC Studio Fix 24-Hour Smooth Wear Concealer. My shade is an NC35. It's what I'm wearing right now. I love this as well. The texture is similar-ish to the Urban Decay one, but maybe a little bit more thick. That one is a little bit more thinner in texture, meaning that one blends out a lot more easily, but that's not to say that this one doesn't blend out either. This is also about to finish. I had to proper dig into it to use it today. Again, it goes to show how much I love it. The quality is great. It covers up any dark circles beautifully. It doesn't move throughout the day. Sets nicely under the eyes and keeps everything looking brightened, illuminated, and basically it lasts a really long time too. My Anastasia Beverly Hills liquid liner, which I've raved about ever since I bought it. This one is actually about to finish and I'm about to order my third one of these now. It is pricey, but it does last me a really long time, purely because I can justify the kind of price that this charges because I don't actually need to apply that much. I don't have to go over the eyeliner more than one time to get a thick, opaque black line which does not smudge, run or move throughout the day. Whereas with other liquid liners, sometimes you have to go over it again and again just to get a thick black line, or not even a thick line, just a pure black line without being able to see your makeup or your eyelid color underneath. And that's one of the reasons why I love it. It's also got a very nice and easy to use felt tip nib, which has got a little bit of give to it, so you can bend it across the contours of your eye without making any mistakes. This is the Soap and Glory Brow Archery, which I've showed you guys in the past. It's actually nearly finished. It's in the shade Dark Chocolate, and on what, oh yep, it is nearly finished. That's like literally all that's left, so you'll probably be seeing something else next month. But I have been loving this since I got this. This was actually gifted to me by Soap and Glory, but I had used it in the past. Because I've become so used to using my IT Cosmetics brow pencil, which is in the shade Universal Taupe, I've been a lot more used to having softer colored brows rather than the stronger, more defined ones which I used to have. And because this is in the shade Dark Brown, if you guys can see, I don't actually apply that much to my eyebrows at all these days because I'm kind of over that whole overpowering eyebrow look that I used to maybe do a couple of years ago. I'm more down to more softer natural brows because I don't want my brows to be the focus of my makeup look. However, this one I can go in with a very light hand, and therefore I don't have those thick dark brown sharpie eyebrows, and then I just brush it out with a spoolie and it all works beautifully. It doesn't move as long as I set it, but it's pretty decent for a drugstore brow pencil. So I'm just going to show you some highlighters now. This is the Estee Lauder, it's got a really long name, Bronze Goddess Illuminating Powder Jelly in the shade number 1 Heatwave. This has been popular for many, many years. I think its popularity has definitely gone down since there are so many other dupes out there these days, as this is a pricey product. I actually bought this last summer, but I have started using it again. It's a great golden highlighter. It basically just sits beautifully on the skin and makes your skin look lovely and luminous. It does accentuate texture slightly. It's not a thick, buttery texture like some of the other thicker highlighters, which I actually tend to prefer, to be honest. This one's a little bit more on the powdery side. One of the thicker ones, and what I mean by that is one like this one here by Jouer. It's their Skinny Dip Powder Highlighter. Now, I'm not sure if you can see, I've just about hit pan right in the middle. And the reason why I've already hit pan on this, to be fair, I have had it a while, but obviously I own loads of highlighters. This one has got that thick, buttery texture, which means that it kicks up quite a lot of powder, but then it glides onto the skin almost as if like a mix of like a powder jelly kind of. So basically what it does is it's not shimmery like the Estee Lauder one. There's no shimmer to it. Even like going like this, you can't see any shine bouncing off of it or any glitter. But once you apply it to your face, it sits beautifully over any texture, fills it out and makes you kind of glow, but without looking glittery basically. Another highlighter which I've been loving again, and I actually have hit pan, you can see the middle, is the Amrezy highlighter by Anastasia Beverly Hills. Again, you can sense a theme. I'm very samey when it comes to highlighters because obviously that's what goes best with my skin tone. A beautiful golden highlighter. This one works well on all skin tones, and I've actually got a backup of this as well. Another golden highlighter is this one by Nabla Cosmetics. It's from their range called Skin Glazing Glass Skin Finish Glow Powder. Why do they have such long names? And this is in the shade Amnesia. Again, another one which does not accentuate texture because it's not glittery. It's got a metallic shine to it, so it sits beautifully on the skin and really gives that glass skin effect, which is obviously why they have named it as such. Right, so that's it for my May 2020 favorites. I hope you guys are wonderful, healthy, great and happy, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.